Mercedes-Benz EQG, the electric version of the G-Class, will be available to order in 2025, while the Ineos Fusilier is expected to be released in 2026. That being said, here's a comparison of the two upcoming electric SUVs. 2025 Mercedes-Benz EQG. Legacy and refinement. The EQG carries the iconic G-Class boxy design with modern electric car features. Mercedes-Benz is a well-established brand known for its luxury, performance, and technology. Expected specs. Although official specs haven't been released, rumors suggest a range of around 250 miles and a powerful electric motor putting out over 400 horsepower. 2025 Ineos Fusilier. Newcomer with off-road prowess, Ineos Automotive is a new company founded by Jim Ratcliffe, the billionaire behind the Ineos Chemicals Group. The Fusilier is designed to be a rugged off-roader that can compete with Land Rovers and Jeep Wranglers. Expected specs. While details are scarce, the Fusilier is expected to have a boxy design, powerful electric motor, and good off-road capability. Here's a table summarizing the key points. Feature: Mercedes-Benz EQG. Release date: 2025. Design: classic G-Class boxy design with modern touches. Brand: established luxury automaker. Expected specs: 250-mile range, 400+ horsepower. Feature: Ineos Fusilier. Release date: 2026. Design: boxy design, built for off-roading. Brand: new company. Expected specs: unconfirmed. Since the Ineos Fusilier isn't out yet, it's difficult to make a definitive comparison. But here are some factors to consider when deciding which electric SUV is right for you. Brand reputation. If you value a trusted brand with a history of luxury and performance, the Mercedes-Benz EQG might be the better choice. Off-road capability. If you prioritize off-roading ability, the Ineos Fusilier might be a better option, given Ineos' intention to compete with Land Rovers and Jeeps. Price. No official pricing has been announced for either vehicle, but the Mercedes-Benz is likely to be more expensive given the brand reputation. Ultimately, the best choice will depend on your individual needs and preferences. Stay tuned for more updates on both these electric SUVs as their release dates approach. Mercedes unveils 2025 electric G-Class, with 4 motors and tank turns. Mercedes unveiled its 2025 electric G-Class tonight, which it's calling the G580 with EQ technology, and we're here in Beverly Hills at the reveal with all the details. Mercedes first surprised us with its EQG concept at IAA in 2021. Now it's heading to production, but with a somewhat more plain name. At the time we had almost no details, but now we're learning all about the upcoming electric off-roader here in the wilds of Beverly Hills, California. A simultaneous reveal happened in China at the Beijing Auto Show. Here's your first look at the new Ineos Fusilier, an electric off-roader. After the Grenadier and Quartermaster comes this, Ineos' new, slightly smaller E4X4. Though we can't quite be sure, one suspects Ineos, chemical giant, now automotive company, harbors great affection for a good military rank. Following the reveal of the Grenadier, named after Ineos' big boss Sir Jim Ratcliffe's favorite pub, also a soldier who handles big grenades, came the Quartermaster, soldier who looks after supplies. And now, there's a third, the new Ineos Fusilier. It is exciting for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's Ineos' slightly smaller, fully electric off-roader, taking the genes of the Grenadier and transposing them into a car fit for the zero and low-emission future. Second, and perhaps more importantly, it opens up a world of names for new models that'll fill Ineos' catalog quicker than you can say attention. Anyone else feeling the Ineos kettle drummer? But the electric G-Class does have off-roading chops. It comes with 4 independent electric motors putting out a combined 579 horsepower and 879 lb-ft of torque. Each motor has its own 2-speed transmission, giving access to a low gear with 2:1 gear reduction for off-roading, and the 4 independent motors mean the car can vector torque to whichever wheels needed, even better than a locking differential. We've no background info on the name, but the new Fusilier does fulfill a promise Sir Jim made back in 2022 to build a zero-emission 4x4. As such, we're told the Fusilier will come in two variants, a battery electric version, and one with a range extender. The latter is currently in development, and at this early stage we know only that it'll be a small petrol engine acting as a generator to maintain the battery's charge level. Sounds sensible. Four-wheel motors also means the G580 will be capable of what Mercedes calls G-turn, its branding of what we've previously seen referred to as tank turn when Rivian was working on it, but later abandoned and pivoted to front dig mode instead. This means it will be able to do two full rotations on the spot by spinning the wheels on the left and right sides of the car in opposite directions at once. Despite the absence of a real top hat, the new Fusilier sports a clean, polished design, clearly taking the Grenadier's upright, boxy proportions and smoothing off the edges, almost shrink-wrapping it around a shorter, lower silhouette. That's been done deliberately for better airflow, we're told, further concessions to which include active grille shutters and things like flushed glazing. Though a little generic, it's clearly part of the Ineos family, sporting the company's now established 7-inch circular headlights. Squint, and one could imagine an even smaller version, say, the Ineos Trumpeter? But we're getting ahead of ourselves. However, this feature is more of a toy, just for fun. Mercedes also has a G-steering feature, which is sort of a mini version of the G-turn, which will help you make extremely tight turns by activating torque vectoring and giving you just a little bit of spin, though unlike the EQS, it doesn't have rear-wheel steering. Neither of these features will be great for tire wear. The G580 can climb up to a 100%, 45 degrees grade and hold stable on lateral slopes of up to 35 degrees, for 33.5 inches of water, 6 inches deeper than the gas version, with 9.8 inches of ground clearance, a 32 degrees approach angle, 30.7 degrees departure angle and 20.3 degrees breakover angle, with independent double wishbone suspension in the front and a solid Dion axle in the rear. We'll know more about the Fusilier RX later this year. Both variants will be built by Magna, which, you'll remember, also builds the G-Class in Austria, and the Fusilier will in time be subject to a rigorous testing program on Austria's Schachel Mountain. Ineos Automotive CEO Lynn Calder added, announcing our third model line is another significant milestone, cementing our intent as an automotive manufacturer. Like our full vehicle lineup, we are here for the long haul. And if they're here for the long haul, they'll need more names. Personally, TopGear.com cannot wait for the Ineos Wagon Master General. To help you see where you're going, the G580 has a transparent hood feature, which uses a camera to show what's in front of and under the car on the internal display. This is important for off-roading, because if you're going over a ridge or something and can't see under the hood, the transparent hood can help you see where you're going. But it's also a Mercedes, which means it's fancy inside. And the 2025 model will be particularly fancy, as it's only available in Edition 1 trim with lots of exclusive interior and exterior touches. Edition 1 will have a limited number of color options, but you can customize later editions of the car basically any way you want through Mercedes' manufacturer car customization process. So whether you're conquering a real jungle or just the concrete jungle of Rodeo Drive or Las Vegas for the latest cryptocurrency convention, you'll feel right at home in the Mercedes G-Class. That fanciness is certainly needed to justify its price, which Mercedes hasn't yet released, but said that it will be in the ballpark of the G63, which starts at around $180,000. In terms of exterior design, the G580 is basically the same as the gas G-Class, with the same boxy design. Unlike many EVs, it doesn't adopt a particularly curvy exterior, and still has a textured grille area. The decision to stick with a traditional-looking grille goes hand in hand with Mercedes' recent decision to add a more classic grille option to its EQS. And it turns out, if you want the G580 with the traditional G-Class grille, you can just get the standard grille, directly from the gas version, if you prefer it, but then you don't get those cool lights. And overall, Mercedes said it was very important to maintain the overall design of the G-Class. So it hasn't tweaked it to make it look electric, other than some grille modifications and a couple aero bits. Mercedes says the vehicle has optimized aerodynamics, which was surely a primary design intent of this vehicle that consists solely of straight lines. But actually, there have been a couple small changes, like a slightly modified A-pillar and a strip above the windshield to smooth out the front edge of the roof. This balances out to a drag coefficient of 0.44, better than other G-classes, but worse than, say, a Tesla Semi. As for details on its electric drive capabilities, the aforementioned 4 motors can sprint to 60 miles per hour in an estimated 4.6 seconds, and reach a top speed of 112 mph/180 km/h. These aren't the fastest numbers out there, but the car isn't meant to be a race car. Mercedes could have gone with a bigger battery, or more power, but that would have meant other compromises elsewhere, and Mercedes said that it was far more important to focus on the total package. Mercedes hasn't told us a range number yet, but with a 116 kWh battery and a face that's even flatter than its electric triangle on wheels competition, we can imagine it's somewhere in the mid-200s. It's 473 kilometers on WLTP, which is 293 miles, but WLTP is a little more lenient than EPA numbers. More importantly than overall range, Mercedes says the G-Class will DC charge from 10 to 80% in 32 minutes, with a 200 kilowatts peak charging rate and an 11 kilowatts AC charge rate. That maths out to an average charge rate of approximately 150 kilowatts on DC over the full session, which is reasonable, but not great. Also, the models we saw had CCS, not NACS. Given the car's big 116 kilowatt-hours usable battery, it still doesn't charge nearly as fast as a Hyundai/Kia eGMP car,